United States Pathway to Citizenship, Part 3. The Living Promise. What the Declaration Means for New Citizens.
Welcome back, everyone. David and I have traveled from the words of the Declaration to the framework of the Constitution. Now let's talk about how those ideas live inside the citizenship process itself. Because really, every person taking the test is continuing the Declaration's mission.
That's wild to think about. I mean, I'm just trying to remember who wrote what and which year something happened, but you make it sound like I'm part of history.
That's because you are. Remember the question on the test. What did the Declaration of Independence do? The simple answer is, it announced our independence from Great Britain. But the deeper meaning is that it announced an idea that people can choose their own leaders. When you apply for citizenship, you're doing the same thing. You're choosing to be part of a nation built on self-government.
So the citizenship interview is like my personal declaration?
Exactly. It's your moment to say, I choose freedom, equality, and opportunity. You're joining millions who made that same choice before you. It's not just paperwork. It's a pledge to keep those ideals alive.
That's a cool way to see it. So when I raise my hand and take the oath of allegiance, I'm echoing 1776.
Absolutely. It's the same spirit. Remember how Jefferson wrote that governments get their power from the consent of the governed? By becoming a citizen, you're giving your consent. You're saying, count me in.
So when I vote for the first time, it's like signing my own version of the Declaration.
I love that image. Every vote is like adding your name to the list of people who still believe in those truths. It's a continuation of the promise.
You know, I used to think the test was just a bunch of trivia, but now it feels like a map of what makes America tick.
Exactly. Every question is a thread in the fabric of freedom. When you learn them, you're not just studying facts. You're learning how the idea of liberty became a way of life.
Andrea, I've been thinking. Those words, all men are created equal, sound so noble, but America hasn't always lived up to them. How does that fit with the citizenship test?
That's such an important question, David. The Declaration wasn't perfect. It was the beginning of a conversation, not the end. When you study U.S. history for the test, you'll see that every generation has had to fight to make those words true for more people.
Like the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement?
Exactly. When you answer questions like, what did Abraham Lincoln do? And say, he freed the slaves, or what movement tried to end racial discrimination? And answer, the Civil Rights Movement. You're seeing how Americans have worked to close the gap between ideals and reality.
So, it's like the Declaration planted the seed, and every generation keeps watering it.
Perfect metaphor. The founders wrote about equality, but later leaders and citizens, people like Lincoln, Susan B. Anthony, and Martin Luther King Jr., helped that idea grow. They made freedom more complete.
And now, as someone becoming a citizen, I get to help keep it alive too.
Yes, citizenship isn't about agreeing that the country's perfect. It's about believing it can always improve. That's what makes we the people so powerful. It includes everyone willing to work for a better nation.
So when I study these questions, I'm not just memorizing heroes. I'm learning what kind of citizen I should be.
That's exactly the goal. The test isn't just about knowledge. It's about understanding the spirit behind the answers. When you know that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness wasn't fully real for everyone at first, it gives you the motivation to help make it real now.
That makes me proud, and maybe a little nervous. I feel like I'm joining something bigger than I realized.
You are. Every new citizen adds their own voice to that bigger story, and that's why the Declaration still matters. It's not a relic. It's a reminder that freedom must be renewed every time someone says, "I believe in this."
You make it sound like citizenship is a relay race. We each carry the torch a little farther.
Exactly, David. And guess what? You're next in line. So, David, as we wrap up our conversation, tell me, what's changed for you since we started this journey through the Declaration?
Honestly, everything. Before, it was just a test to pass. Now, it feels like a story I'm stepping into. When I read, "All men are created equal," I don't just think about old parchment and quill pens. I think about people from everywhere, like me, who came here for a chance to live those words.
That's exactly what I hope every future citizen feels. The Declaration isn't just America's beginning. It's an invitation, and you've accepted it.
I guess I never saw myself as part of that story before. I used to think history was something that happened to people, not something you could join.
But citizenship is your way in. You become part of the ongoing chapter. Every oath, every vote, every small act of civic duty, it all keeps the story alive.
It's funny, I used to worry about my accent during the interview. Now I think, maybe that accent is just a new way of saying the same old American words.
That's beautiful. America's voice is full of accents. That's what makes it strong. Each one adds color and depth to the idea of we the people.
You know, when you put it like that, I think of the Declaration like a song that never ends. Every generation sings a verse.
I love that. And you're about to sing yours. Think about your interview day as a conversation with history. When they ask, "What did the Declaration of Independence do?" you'll say, "It announced our independence," but in your heart, you'll know it also announced your future.
That gives me chills. I used to be scared of the test, but now I'm excited for it.
Good. That's the transformation. Fear turning into purpose. Because this journey isn't about passing a test. It's about discovering your voice in America's story.
And maybe that's why people still read those words every 4th of July. They remind us that freedom isn't a gift, it's a choice.
Exactly. Every citizen, new or old, has to choose it again and again. That's the real pursuit of happiness, to keep striving toward the promise those founders dared to write.
Andrea, I have to say, you've turned what I thought was a boring study topic into something alive.
And you've reminded me why I teach this. Every time someone like you connects with those words, the Declaration gets a new heartbeat.
Then here's my declaration. I'm ready. I'm ready to raise my hand, take the oath, and do my part.
And that's the spirit of independence, alive and well. When you walk out of that ceremony, remember, you're not just a citizen by law, you're a citizen by choice.
I'll remember that, and I'll keep learning, keep voting, keep believing.
That's all any of us can do. And that's what keeps America growing. Each person carrying a piece of that 1776 dream forward.
Then here's to the Declaration, the Constitution, and the test that brings them both to life.
And here's to you, David, the newest guardian of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you, Andrea, for the lessons, the stories, and for reminding me that history isn't behind us, it's under our feet.
Beautifully said. And to everyone listening, remember, the U.S. Citizenship Test isn't just about answers. It's about understanding who we are and who we can become. The Declaration of Independence started the conversation. You, the future citizens, keep it going.
I think that's the best homework ever.
Then class dismissed with flying colors.
And fireworks.
Always fireworks. Freedom deserves a celebration.